Welcome to another edition of Community Matters. I'm Jim Cameron, your program director and host of this program, where we interview folks in Darien who make this town such a special place to live. And one of those people is our guest today, Al Miller, who is the chairman, I'm going to call him, of the Bicentennial Commission. Not the official title, but he's the guy that's been putting together all the plans, delayed for a year now, to celebrate Darien's 200th anniversary. Al, great to have you on the program. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
First of all, for people that don't know you, what's your background? How long have you lived in town? How did you get involved with town affairs and things like that?
Well, I lived here for 24 years, 25 years actually now. I raised two kids, a daughter and a son here. They both moved away, graduated, went to the public schools here and moved away. And I was an engineer at Sikorsky Aircraft up in Stratford, Connecticut for many years, 20 some years. And then I retired a couple of years ago, and I became a member of the on the board of directors at the what used to be called the Historical Society, Darien Historical Society. It's now called the Museum of Darien.
Mm-hmm.
And around 2018, they realized that our bicentennial was fast approaching in a couple of years. And they started having meetings about how to celebrate and how to educate some of the members of the town, population of the town, about our bicentennial and about our history, and really about how to celebrate the year 2020.
And
so
go ahead.
In 2019, we decided along with the town that really there should be a committee on the town with the town. So we became an official committee with the town. We're under the Monuments and Ceremonies Commission. Our official title is called the Darien 2020 Bicentennial Committee. There's about 15 of us. We're all volunteers, all unpaid. And there's a number of volunteers also who are helping out who aren't officially members of the committee.
And you held a kickoff opening ceremony in January of 2020. It was supposed to be the beginning of a year-long celebration.
Right.
And then COVID hit. Right. And all of your planning was, like so many parts of our lives, kind of put on hold.
Absolutely.
That must have been very discouraging on a number of levels.
Yeah. But with thinking about everything that was going on with COVID, there was so much to think about other than planning for the bicentennial. But yeah, it did uproot everybody's lives, including this committee's.
Right. Well, I thought it'd be useful not only to have you as a guest on the program, but to highlight some of the things that are coming up so people don't miss any of the festivities, delayed as they were for a year now. And one of the things that's been kind of an ongoing project, which I understand is going to come to fruition sometime soon, is a time capsule. What's going to be in this time capsule and where is it going to go?
So the time capsule, we decided not to actually bury it, but the time capsule will be permanently stored at the Museum of Darien. It'll be above ground, obviously, in a nice box, and they'll be able to display it either as part of their permanent collection, or they can bring it out from time to time to kind of display it. That we thought that would be better than burying it somewhere for 50 years. So we're planning on not opening it up for 50 years. It will be officially closed later this year, probably around November. And some of the things that go into it is we're asking every single elementary school, there's 5 elementary schools, plus every grade level in the middle school, so that's 3 grade levels, plus every grade level in the high school, that's 4 grade levels. So 5, 3, and 4 is 12. So there'll be 12 submissions to submit whatever they want. Something about this year or something about Darien, whatever they would like to submit. So that's going on. Additionally, we will have a book of essays of any resident who wants to participate. And we've got a number of them already. That's still open. So if you'd like to write in 200 words a list, and submit a paper copy to Caroline Lopez at the Darien Library, that would be great. If you want to do it online, you can visit http://bit.ly/Darien time capsule. And you can write your reflection, but do it quickly because we're going to shut this down in June. Additionally, this has really been hosted by the Darien Library. So they're having an anniversary celebration of their library on May 26th, I believe. And they will have a sketchbook that kids can go and draw or write or do whatever they want to do into the sketchbook, and that'll go into the time capsule as well. And finally, there's an essay contest for the middle school and the high school that will be coming in the fall. And the winners of the essay contest, one from the high school and one from the middle school, that essay will be permanently stored, or at least for 50 years, will be stored in the time capsule. So lots of stuff.
But most of this is going to be written submissions. It's not going to be artifacts per se.
Everything from the 12 submissions from the middle school, the high school, and all the elementary schools, those will be actual artifacts.
Great. Now, a lot of the activities that are part of your bicentennial celebration, and everybody probably got one of these in the mail because you sent this postcard out to everybody in town,
Yes,
right?
we did. Yep.
And there's dates and times on the back, which we'll cover in a second. But a lot of this is made possible by sponsors, groups in town that have contributed money to make all of these celebrations possible. And maybe we should give them their moment in the sun and tell us who the sponsors are.
Absolutely. The sponsors have been fantastic. We have a platinum benefactor, which is the Darien Foundation, and they donated something called the Heritage Trail, which we can talk about a little bit later, but that was a $35,000 donation to fund the Heritage Trail. The actual town of Darien is a diamond benefactor, and they give us $15,000 to start all these celebrations as kind of seed money. Additionally, we have our gold sponsors, which is Baywater Properties, Crestwood Advisors, the DR Bank, Hollow Tree Self-Storage, the Water's Edge at Giovanni's, and William Ravis Real Estate and Mortgage and Insurance. And we have our silver level, which was the Neil Hawk Architects and Rand Insurance, and our bronze level, which are the Barrett Bookstore and Cross Private Client Insurance, and the Darien Board of Realtors. And additionally, last year we have had quite a number of people just come in and mail to us a donation. So I'd like to thank all the individual contributors as well.
Great, great. Now, immediately coming up, there are a couple of events that we wanted to highlight so people, now that we can be maskless and free and run about in the great outdoors, can participate. Friday, June 4th, write this down on your calendar, folks. What's going to happen on Friday, June 4th?
On Friday, June 4th at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, it's something we call the Weed Beach Festive Nights. And they're hosting the Bicentennial Bash. And this is hosted by the Departments of Parks and Recs. But we will have a big contribution there. We will have the whale boat from the Museum of Darien. People will be able to take pictures. We're giving out free tri-corner hats for the kids to wear. Everybody should start reading and brushing up on the history because there'll be a trivia contest. They will have a band there performing throughout the ceremony. We'll have a birthday cake there. And actually also for the kids, there'll be a cake decorating contest, and there'll be kind of a cake walk, and hopefully everybody will sing with the band, happy birthday.
Wonderful. And I know it's for the weekend, it's a Friday night, but is there a specific date that is the actual 201st anniversary of the creation of Darien?
Right. So the actual date is June 12th, and that's when we officially became Darien. Right. And that is actually celebrated on our next event. It's called Anniversary Day Ceremony. That will be on Saturday, June 12th. It'll start at 5:45. There'll be a fife and drum, kind of a musical prelude. This is at Slauson Cemetery, 107 Hanson Road. just down the road from the Weeburn Country Club. At 5:45 to 6 o'clock, there'll be kind of a musical prelude. Then at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a moment of silence. We're asking for everybody in the faith community to ring their bells for 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. Additionally, we're asking our 3 fire departments to, the trucks have a bell to sound their bell, not the fire alarm, of course, but just their bell. And then we'll have that ceremony. The Boys and Girl Scouts will take part. Jamie Stevenson will read a speech. And the Daughters of the American Revolution will be laying a historical marker that was donated by them, as well as by the Masons who did the foundation of this. They will be laying a marker at the gravesite of Thaddeus Bell, which is our founder.
And who was Thaddeus Bell? How did he help
Thaddeus
make Darien?
Bell, right. He's an interesting, very, very interesting character. So Thaddeus Bell, he came from Old Stock. In fact, his great-great-great-great-grandparents, Rebecca and Francis Bell, were among the first families who started, who actually settled in this area. And they settled in what was then Stanford in 1640, Stanford Parish. When he was 17, he joined the militia. And when war broke out against Great Britain, he took part, obviously, on the Patriot side. And he was captured in the Tory raid at the Middlesex Meeting House, which is now the First Congregational Church. He was taken as a prisoner of war and taken over to New York. And he was released then in December. However, his brother, who also was a prisoner there, died on the way home. He was brought back to Darien, and he became a first-term delegate to the State Assembly. He lobbied twice, unsuccessfully. We were then known as Middlesex Parish. He unsuccessfully to break away from Stanford and become part of its own town of Darien. And on the third time in 1820, on June 12th, there was a new state constitution and we became an independent town. When the town clerk drew up the charter for the town, he called it Belleville in honor of Thaddeus Bell. But he was a very humble man, so he crossed out Belleville and put the name Darien. And nobody knows to this day why he chose the name Darien. But if you look at the original charter, you will see the name Belleville crossed out and the Darien written in his script.
So it's not a reference to that tiny isthmus
It
of
may
Panama
have been something that's
squeezed
that's
between
a legend.
Norwalk and Stanford.
Exactly, that's a legend, but nobody has absolutely managed to confirm that that's why he called it Dario.
And where is the original charter kept?
I know we have a copy at Town Hall, which you can take a look at. I guess somewhere probably in the archives up in New Haven, I would imagine. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth.
So that's Saturday, June 12th, rain or
5:45.
shine.
Correct, rain or shine, yes.
And we're hoping for shine, not rain. Fast
And
forwarding
then I
up.
just want to say that it's at Slauson Cemetery. That's not handicap accessible. You have to climb some stairs to get up, and it's on the ground, so it's kind of rocky ground. So. But it will be, you're televising it, so.
TV 79 is going to be recording the ceremony. We're not live streaming it, but we'll be there to preserve it for posterity, put it on a thumb drive, and maybe put it in the time capsule as well too. Fast forwarding to the fall, there is something coming up called Heritage Day, Saturday, the 23rd of October. What's that going to be?
That's going to be a very, very big celebration. And that's kind of one of the closeout celebrations that we have, our last really main event. And that's done with the Museum of Darien, as well as the First Congregational Church and the Mather Homestead. So from 10:30 to 1:30, we will have a demonstration of colonial crafts and things there. Then during that 10:30 to the 1:30 time, we're going to do a demonstration, kind of a recreation, but really a demonstration of the kidnapping of the 40 or so patriots from the First Congregational Church. At that time, it was Middlesex Meeting House. So one of the ministers agreed to be kidnapped, to stage the kidnapping. We have the 5th Connecticut Regiment, which are a group of Connecticut reenactors, will be staging this demonstration. And that's going to be very, very exciting. Then at 2:30 to 4:30, it will be, the festivities will then be taking place at the Mather Homestead. And there's going to be also another demonstration of, during colonial times, during the Revolutionary War, there was a raid at the meeting house to get some silver. So there'll be kind of a demonstration of that raid, as well as kind of a demonstration of a typical skirmish that took place during the Revolutionary War.
Al Miller is our guest today on the program. He is the chairman of what we're in short form referring to as the Bicentennial Commission. And we're talking about all the festivities that are coming up in the next few months, delayed by a year to celebrate Darien's 200th anniversary. So there's a lot going on. You mentioned the time capsule, Al, and how public can participate in that through the library or through the schools. Is there anything else the public can do aside from enjoy these festivities that you've been working so hard on?
Well, I think they should also watch out for another big project that I said was funded by the Darien Foundation. That's the Heritage Trail. So that will be about 9 historical markers that we're planning to post throughout the town at various historical sites. And they'll have a little bit of information on there. There'll be a brochure that you can actually follow these sites and kind of drink in some of Darien's history. But yeah, come out and see the events, but also read a little bit about Darien's history. It's really fascinating.
You were, unfortunately, I watch all of the Bicentennial Commission meetings. You were at one point, they're good. They're really interesting stuff because they're working so hard, folks. They really are. You were at one point talking about the Bicentennial flags and possibly selling those to raise money because you had many and were going to be on the streets. And did anything ever come of that?
Well, that's still under consideration, but we do have a lot of merchandise as well, which if you go to Barrett Bookstore, you can pick up the merchandise. Additionally, if you go to the website, if you go to the www.dariencct.gov, scroll all the way down to our logo. Logo was done by 3 students in the high school. Click on the logo and you'll be able to see a lot of information about our committee, but also you'll be able to see where to pick up some of that, some of the merchandise, and if the flags go on sale as well as the flags.
And you were doing holiday ornaments. They're what?
We have holiday ornaments. We have T-shirts.
Sell the merch here. Come on, move the merch here.
We've got one. I should have worn some. We've got wonderful hats. Yeah. We've got T-shirts, and we've got ornaments, and we'll let you know if we're going to sell the flags in the future.
Excellent. We are going to put in the closing credits to this program website information and the dates of all the things that we talked about. So if you have that pencil and paper at hand, write this down. And if you didn't save this postcard that came in your mail at great expense to the Bicentennial Commission, there's copies available at Town Hall, I'm guessing too, right?
We will put copies there. Yeah.
And on the back,
store will have copies there.
Wonderful. And on the back is all the dates and information about what's coming up. So Al, thank you. And if you could extend to the commission members as well too, a thank you from everybody in town for all the hard work that you've been putting into this, delayed as it was for a year. I think we're all anxious to get out and party, and what better celebration than Darien's 200th birthday.
Thank you, Jim, for having me. And so to all the residents here, remember 2020 one more time.
Thank you, Al. And thank you for watching another edition of Community Matters.